If you are a lover of wisdom, you will come to understand that most of the time, you don't find it in the expected places. Where Mumbi Poetry just dissected why Drake is philosophical in his craft. And we are going to expand that in a little bit, because nowadays when you think about Drake, you also think about this other person known as Kendrick. Yeah, so remember to like and comment down below about this stuff.
What I learned about temporality from Drake. If you know me personally, you know I've been sitting with Drake's music since Nothing Was the Same, which is long enough to notice the types of questions he keeps coming back to. And I'm also interested in using African temporalities as a lens for my worldview, especially cyclical and relational time. So the dominant linear sequence or timeline we've been taught is that you work, you sacrifice, you arrive, and meaning will be waiting for you at the end. But then someone like Drake makes a song like, is there more? And he asks, is there more to life than just when I'm feeling alive? And it's heard as arrogance because we think the way someone lives determines whether they can ask real existential questions. But really what we have here is a man who is standing at the end of this linear timeline, which everyone said would reward him with meaning. But now he's asking, where did the promised meaning go? And if you listen to the music, you'll hear that he does arrive, but instead of finding meaning, he finds that time is actually cyclical because he's thrown back into the same cycle of searching, just this time maybe with better lighting. So it's like success is a loop that you can't escape. And this isn't even me trying to philosophize Drake. I feel like he does that on his own, but it's me taking him at his word. And I think it's something that he warns us about, like in a song like Do Not Disturb, when he says, they don't know they gotta be faster than me to get to me, no one's done it successfully. It reads as a bar, but it can also be read as a comment on the futility of running forward in linear time. And I don't even know if that's one of the ways that he meant it, because you can't run yourself into meaning. But we don't read this as a philosophy of ambition or time, because we have a very rigid idea of where philosophy can come from. And
Mse, do you ever listen to music like that? I think for most people, when they listen to music, they are just carried away by the melody and the intention behind it. When you get to this point, when you can actually get the philosophy behind the artist, then you know that you are living life in a different octave bana. Sasa Drake hapa hivi amekuwa projected as someone who's philosophical. I never thought about it like that. In fact, I never thought about Drake as a philosophical person. Word in the street is that he's always this guy who is more into chicks than more into music. I mean, juzi kulikuwaga na hii beef, and one of the people who came on top is not him. So ni crazy manze kuona hii situation yote manze iki unfold when you realize this guy can actually be so introspective in comparison to this other person who won. I mean, Kendrick Lamar won, but the philosophy that I get from Kendrick is not that form of introspective. If there's something like that, extrospective, like he's always thinking about the community, power dynamics in a society, what is happening in groups of people. In comparison to Drake, now kwenye tuna realize, hey, god damn it bro, this person thinks deeply about himself. That is according to Mumbi Poetry.
I think this is part of the reason why Drake is so unsettling for some people, because people don't want philosophy from someone in his position, but also why when it comes to rap beefs, it's really ever about him as a person, but about what he represents. Because people want time to moralize success, because people want their own sacrifices to mean something. But Drake suggests that maybe linear time doesn't have a redemptive arc, and it forces people to question their own path that they chose and what they gave up to follow it. Anyway, all this to say that maybe part of the reason why we say Drake is unrelatable is because he asks these questions too early, and also because he's honest about what he found. Anyway, that's just a thought that I had. Asante kwa kutazama, tafakari hayo, keep producing time.
So what I'm getting from her is that when Drake encounters experience, he thinks about it like, what have I learned from this experience? Like, how does it affect him? On the other side, from his competitor, Kendrick, you will realize that when he encounters experience, it's always about what does this mean for the larger community. I don't know what you guys think about these two artists. You might give your comments down below, but this comes to show that you can actually get wisdom in very different places. You just need a keen eye to actually look at it. And that brings us to our next video. And before I show you the next video, I want to talk about a previous video when I actually clarified most of the things that can actually create that philosophical mindset in you. But I think it's not many people who actually understood that point clearly. So I'm just going to clarify that in this video. So check this other video out.
Now, your biggest problem is not your problem. It's your pattern.
What?
So somebody DM'd me in my IG inbox and they asked me, why do I keep on ending up in the same mess? Different jobs, different people, but I get the same results. Now here's the thing, life repeats the lesson until you respond differently. If every year looks the same, it's not life. It's you refusing to upgrade your behavior. Pause, look at your patterns, study them, interrupt one of them. That's how growth begins. You're not stuck. You're just predictable. Save this and send this to somebody who needs to hear it, or listen to it again.
I mean, we already spoke about these forms of things in a different video. So I'm just going to insert that part of the video here just to make the statement again. This is just my thought bana. This is sidhani ni kitu nimeverify or anything. I'm just telling you guys the things that zilinisaidia spiritually ni get out of this rut. So, ukisha get from number 1 tumesema ni masculine, number 2 ni feminine. The next thing, number 4, inakuwaga ni structure. You need to put systems in your life that govern your universe. Then from number 4, you need to create those systems should be done in a habitual way. In short, they should always repeat themselves. Like number 8, unaonanga ni a full, a snake eating itself. It's like ile Ouroboros. Then after you have become that snake, or you have gotten into that habit of doing the thing ama following your systems over and over again, you get in a situation kwenye inakuwa sasa a number 7. A number 7 ni a form of consciousness. It's a number of divinity. It is like the enlightenment. You start figuring out even more patterns in your life that are maybe zinakurudisha chini, kwa sababu kuna pia different levels of consciousness. Hizo tutaongelea some other time. Ama hizo patterns ndio zinakusaidia uweze kuidentify opportunities zinakam kwa life yako. Now, if you identify these patterns, the next thing you are going to do is implement change, which is number 5. And by implementing change, either umeunderstand hiyo pattern yenye inakuweka in a good situation kwenye unaona opportunity, or hiyo pattern yenye umerealize this pattern is making me spiral downwards a path yenye is not fruitful. If you implement the change, you are going back, you will return back to the Father, ama back to the light that made you incarnate, ama back to the intelligence of this whole universe yenye ilikupatia this life that you are living in, the light that is within you. Unaona hizo wings zime go back to kwenye zinafaa zikuwe. Then hapa katikati kuna number 0. Number 0 manze ndio inakuwa imeconnect hizi vitu zote. The reason I created that part in that video is that people can actually understand it more deeply, because this guy, I think anaitwa Eddie, whatever he is telling you, it's just that you should observe a certain pattern. For me, I am giving you a full path as to how you can actually change the whole situation. Hiyo video imeonyesha hivyo. Some people might not actually get what that means, and I don't actually blame them. It all starts with your mind. you actually need to develop this yearning for curiosity. You need to develop this thing for wanting to learn something new every other time you interact with something. Unless you do that, you can never see the point in any situation. You see, most people live in their minds. People are always telling stories in their head and believing them. These stories develop over a period of time and they cause them to have certain triggers which are now their boundaries. Nikianzanga reaction videos nilikuwa nasema it is always good to create a boundary in your environment and a boundary in you. These forms of boundaries ndio zinafanyaga msee anakuwa different, and we all do that. We all decide what we like and what we don't like. I'm not telling you not to do that. The best thing you can actually do is live life with grace, understand people's perspective and think about it clearly. Ama put yourself in those people's shoes. A few weeks ago nilikuwa naongelea video ya Ska na most people waliona ni kama I am trolling a little bit, So check this video out kwenye Ska alisema hivi.
Alafu acha niwafundishe stingo fulani mood wingi. Endo weke movie. Sikia Rada. Endo weke movie. Anza kuona hiyo movie. As you look at the movie, ka Rada. Every time mind yako inatoka kwa hiyo movie inafikiria kitu kingine, hiyo kitu yenye mind yako inafikiria, andika chini. Endelea tena kuona hiyo movie. Mind yako tena ikitoka, hiyo kitu mind yako itakutoa kwa hiyo movie yenye una try ku concentrate, andika tena chini. Fanya hivyo mpaka hiyo movie ishe. Fanya hivyo mpaka hiyo movie ishe. Hapo ndo utakuja ujue shida zako. Najua hivyo ndo vile unajuaga vitu zako kusumbua akili.
What?
Unaona? Na kitu moja utajua about hizo vitu zote zenye zinakusumbua akili saa hiyo ukiona hiyo movie. High chances ni vitu hauwezi solve. That's why unazifikiria.
Really?
Sijui unaniget. The reason unazifikiria ni juu first of all hauwezi zisolve. So hizo ndio vitu pia tunaitaga distraction. Zinakudistract from the main goal. Hapo saa hiyo goal ni kuona movie, kuiunderstand na kuenjoy. Si ndio? Lakini unashindwa kufanya hivyo kwa nini? Kwa sababu kuna distraction kwa akili yako, kuna kitu inaendelea vitu fulani. So unapata watu wengine distraction zake za wewe unaona movie unaanza kufikiria kudinyana. Unaona movie unaanza kufikiria kulipa rent venye hujalipa rent. Unaona movie unaanza kufikiria venye msee alikukatisia na hakuna kitu unajua unaweza fanya. Unaona movie unaanza kufikiria unataka TI na huna doa uko nayo unataka kwenda Dubai. Yaani hizo zote ni distractions from your main goal.
So kwa hiyo video ya Ska, mimi sikuwaga najaribu kusema ati Ska is not wise, the tricks ama techniques he's using, they are not the ones that actually should work ama they cannot work. Wase wengine wakaniambia, do you think that someone who's high or someone who's on certain drugs cannot give you wisdom? No, I actually don't think that. The most interesting person that I like, and I know he was a very big drunkard, alikuwa Alan Watts. And he had a drinking problem, a drinking issue, even though he was very smart. Most of these people who are enlightened, they all have these forms of issues about the things that they consume. But that's not the case. The case is, kwa hii situation yote ya Ska, I just thought of it like this. Sasa hii ni kufanya ni kuclarify the situation. The technique is correct. You should actually write things down and journal them. That is correct. Na nakumbuka kwa hiyo video nilisema, watching a video is like a distraction. But most people, because I also had this conversation with a friend of mine, akanionyesha, pia hiyo inaweza kuwa the right situation kwenye you are actually watching a video. You've set your mind to watch a video, but these things still come and interfere with your mental state ukiwatch video. It made me think about it even more clearly. Na nikajiuliza, what is the point? Is the point living your life ama getting distracted by things? Na nilikam to a certain conclusion. In this life that we live, it demands certain things from us so that we can get our freedom. And freedom comes through responsibility. So when you are responsible about something, then you will get the freedom, right? So if you are watching a certain movie, then the thought of, oh, I've not paid my rent, or I think of smashing this chick, which one is more close to your reality? Is it the paying the rent ama watching the movie? Is it smashing a certain person or watching the movie? Ni gani iko far from your reality? Na hivyo ndo mimi nilikuwa naiona. Kuona movie, it's so far from your reality because you are watching other people pretend, because they are acting, that they are living a certain life, whereas you can actually live your life right now. And most problems that come up when you are having these forms of things, sometimes they are not even problems. Sometimes it's creativity. These things that actually come up, they do not need you to solve them instantly. Yes, writing them down is a very good thing, but the most important thing is developing a plan to solve that thing. You will realize that when you do that, when you sit down and think about it, like, maybe I've not paid my rent, but right now you want to sit down and watch a movie. Bro, sit down, figure out first how you're going to pay your rent, figure out first how you're going to get food on your table, figure out first how you're going to smash that person that you actually like, then you can watch a movie. Mi hivyo ndo mimi nilikuwa naichukulia. Juu sasa hizo distractions zenye ni kama alikuwa anasema, to me they were so close to somebody's reality other than the movie, which is so far from your reality, and it cannot really affect you as much. It cannot really affect the quality of life that you are living. I hope by that nime-clarify and nime-prove that wisdom is toka tu from inaweza toka from anywhere. You can actually get wisdom if you listen clearly and you look at things clearly. And that's my video for today, bana. Let me know what you guys think about this whole story of wisdom. Is it far-fetched? Because I know that even the people who will try to give you these forms of tricks ama psychological patterns that you can use and solve the things in your life, they actually tap into the most crucial things that are regarded as the basis of lives, kama model ya Carl Jung ya understanding your ego, personality, psyche, your shadow. That's why pia mimi nilikuwa natumia hiyo nini story ya vortex maths. Unacheki wengine watatumia hizi stories za nitwaje, the flower of life. The flower of life also produces a lot of wisdom around it if you can just think about it clearly and detach yourself from your universe. That is after umesolve hizi vitu zenye as affect reality yako sana, you can actually get to these other things. Nasa nimeanza kubonga sana. Other than that, let me see you on the next video, bana. YouTube says the video on your screen will be interesting to you. Click on that video. I'm waiting to see you on the next one.